Welcome back, Patriots, for another episode of the Bald Brad Show, where we go over a lot of news, all the major headlines that you need to know about before heading into your workday, before going into another podcast. There is entertainment. I want to be fair, I act a little bit weird, a little bit silly, but that's what brings you the entertainment and wakes you up in the morning and adds a little pizzazz to what's going on out there in the ether into the news. We are a biased media apparatus, if that's what you want to call it. I mean, really, it's just me. I'm hyping this up like it's bigger than what it is. It's just me, but I'm biased. I'm conservative, fiscal Republican. Holy Lordy, Brad, fiscal conservative, registered Republican. Voted for Donald Trump 3 times. I'm bragging about it at this point. I need to stop. Here we go. We got a lot of news today. A lot of news. And we're going to start with good news. It's been a lot of bad news. Let's do a little bit of good news. House has passed one big, gargantuan, massive, see it from freaking Mars, beautiful bill. And massive win for Donald Trump. Here we go. And a significant victory for President Donald Trump. The Republican-led House early Thursday morning passed what the president has championed as one big, beautiful bill, with enough Republican holdouts coming around to support the comprehensive tax and budget package. There was allegedly a lot of meetings that were taking place yesterday morning at the White House to try to get this thing done. Trump met with House Republicans 2 days in a row as they hashed out last-minute changes to win over members from high-tax blue states who wanted a higher state and local tax SALT deduction cap, and fiscal hawks who championed more spending cuts. The final vote, a close 215 to 214, followed back-to-back all-night sessions in the Rules Committee and on the House floor. Quote, "We planned and we worked and we locked arms together as a team, and we have delivered this against all odds. The media has tried to divide us. They've written our eulogy about 10 times. And you know what? Sometimes it's good to be underestimated, isn't it? But we got this done." Johnson managed to beat his deadline to pass the legislation by Memorial Day. It now heads to the Republican-controlled Senate for consideration. The Trump administration has indicated that it wants Congress to be done with the bill by July 4th. I think that's a good goal. Now, you got to give credit where credit's due with Johnson. Whether you like the guy or not, I know we all have our own opinions about him. But as I mentioned, he has probably the hardest job in Congress because the Republican Party, and I've mentioned this before, is fractured. There's a lot of different segments, and I don't mean fractured in a negative way. I mean fractured in there's just different beliefs that are within the Republican Party. As I mentioned, there's conservatives in the Republican Party. In theory, we should actually have our own party as conservatives, but we all know how that would end with elections. And so we put ourselves in the party that is closest aligned to our values. And to be fair, the Republican Party has actually moved further away from our values as fiscal conservatives, but it still holds between the two parties closer to us. So we tend to go Republican. Now, Johnson has to deal with the conservatives, us, meaning people like me, but it's not for the downside of the country. It's for the benefit of the country that fiscal conservatives are pushing back. I don't blame Chip Roy. I don't blame them for their grievances of not wanting to increase the debt ceiling again or increase the debt limit or take out more money or spend more money. I get all that. But there's a lot of good things in here that I personally voted for that I think we do need to splurge on because it's been a lot of time that we haven't been splurging on these types of things. For example, the bill aims to provide funding and support for Trump's priorities on border security, energy, and national defense. All of which, I mean, maybe other than energy, but border security, national defense is something that government should be spending money on. I mean, that's like the number one thing we should be spending money on. It also seeks to retain tax cuts from 2017 set to expire at the end of this year. This is something that I emphasize to all my supporters, all the subscribers, all the patriots in the chat, that I said, if this were to go away, you're going to be walloped. You're going to owe a few $1,000s more at least under whatever administration goes in office. So we were talking about this when Joe Biden was president. I said, look, it doesn't matter if Joe Biden's president, hell, Kamala Harris, Donald Trump, somebody's going to have to figure out these tax cuts. And isn't it kind of remarkable that everybody pretty much wants these tax cuts to go back into effect? It's pretty wild. Even Democrats. Why? Because deep down inside, Democrats don't want to pay more taxes. Deep down inside, they don't. I mentioned this before. I used to be a tax accountant. My friends are still tax accountants or just accountants as well. I've asked them. We go out to lunch. You always ask them. Hey, have you ever, still to this day, it's like an ongoing joke, Have you ever to this day ever seen a Democrat walk in your office and say, you know what? Don't give me any deductions. I want to make sure I owe the most amount I possibly can, taxable income, to the IRS and to, well, for us here in the state of California's Franchise Tax Board. I want to make sure I owe the amount. It's never happened. It's always, what can you do for me? Can we get that taxable income down? Because I don't want to end up owing this year, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it's funny how that works out. So you want higher taxes, but you don't want to pay the taxes on that. Okay. No, this is just a little hypocritical is all. It also seeks to retain the tax cuts. Again, that's huge. Implement no tax on tips. I was told on TikTok by a lot of Democrats, there's footage of it. Democrats were saying, oh, well, where's the no tax on tips? That's not in it. Where's the no tax on overtime? Well, it's right here. And not to mention, there was no tax on tips that was provided by Ted Cruz also. It was like a safety net. It was a little bit of a safety net. What I would have wanted to see in this was not just no tax on overtime. And I think all the patriots in the chat are going to agree with me on this one. I'd be surprised if you didn't. Is no tax on bonuses. Or okay, I'll be fair. Stop, everybody calm down. Nobody's really yelling at me. Just in my own reality, like a liberal, right? Saying things exist when they don't. Let's just lower it. 5%. Why does the government get to take like half my bonus check? I don't get one, to be fair, but when I was an accountant, I did. Why do they get to take half my bonus? I would have loved to see that in there. Would have loved to see it. Policies blocked federal dollars from funding transgender procedures. Thank the Lord. This is just a good bill, man. It's just a good bill, which is why you're seeing me kind of zip it a little bit. I'm reserving my conservatism for this bill because it needs to be done. And you're oh, isn't that a little bit hypocritical? You just got done saying the Democrats are being hypocritical. Well, aren't you? Yes and no. The reason why I say that is there are things that we need to splurge on. And I've always said this, try to take things down to the individual. For me personally, through personal finance, is I am a cheapskate, meaning I don't buy things I don't have money for. That goes for anything, by the way. Maybe other than a house, but I don't have a house. I don't buy brand new cars. I buy cars cash. My cars are used, dilapidated, but used. I think I've rehashed this many times. I don't buy things that I don't have actual money sitting there to pay for it. Now, I have a credit card, but that credit card is for that cash back for like big purchases or something. I just went on vacation, right? So that would go on a credit card, but I already had the money sitting there. The purpose of the credit card was to get that percent cash back. Why would I not do that? Because now I'm saving a bunch of extra money by just using a credit card as if it was a debit card. My point I'm trying to make is, as much as I'm a cheapskate, I'm trying to watch my language here, I splurge on certain things. For example, health insurance, I splurge on. Car insurance, I splurge on. Meaning safety, folks, I splurge on an individual level. Safety is what we need to be splurging on. Defense, border security, heck, getting rid of these transgender surgeries that are going after your kids and mutilating them. Safety. I'm not being hypocritical at all. If anything, I'm actually just on a bigger scale emphasizing my own personal belief into the government on a large scale holistic view. That's all that's happening here. So it's not hypocritical at all. Matter of fact, it's actually in line, linear to exactly what we do on an individual level or should be doing. So the House led the charge in devising the finer details of the bill after Congress approved a budget framework last month. The budget reconciliation process they are using will allow the Senate, with its narrow Republican majority, to bypass a 3/5 majority. So it should go through the Senate. I don't want to say with ease, but it should go through. So last minute tweaks to the bill meant to placate certain Republicans, including moving Medicaid work requirements by 2 years to the end of 2026. You got the SALT deductions in there. Democrats levied various complaints against the bill, including claims that it would result in losing health care coverage and benefit the rich. It's always something. I'm sorry. You voted for Joe Biden. I don't believe anything that you say. Anything. Like, I don't care what the media has to say. I don't care what the Democrat Party has to say. I don't care whatever plastic surgery lifted face that you throw in front of the TV screen at me. I don't believe what they have to say. You've done nothing but spread hoax. You've done nothing but lie. You utilize the justice system to go after your political opponents. You use the executive branch to go after your political opponents. I don't believe in anything. And I want to point out, remember how I told you guys yesterday and the day before, I said, if you ever get in a debate or even a conversation and they start going after Donald Trump, all you have to write is, did you vote for Joey? That's all you have to do. And you will see they will come to a stop. They will come to a complete stop. And they'll kind of get confused because they're like, well, I did vote for Joey. But why is he bringing this up? Like, how does this play into what we're talking about? Plays into what we're talking about because I don't even want to have a conversation with you because you voted for a guy that lied even to you. And you're going to tell me that I voted for a guy that's lying to me, but yet he's having press conferences going, F the Democrats, I don't care. Like, give me a break. Come on. Come on. It's silly. It's silly. Well, we got updates here on Joey. Speaking of him, a top cancer doctor says Biden's diagnosis story, well, it just doesn't add up. Oh, I was told by Whoopi Goldberg, as was all of us, that, oh, well, he didn't lie to us. He knew, he didn't know about it. Come on. Come on, guys. Oh, yeah. Just every doctor's come out and said, yeah, no, he's just lying. Dr. Stephen Quay does not believe President Joe Biden was just diagnosed with stage 4 prostate cancer, telling the Daily Wire, there's a mismatch between the standard of care Biden should have been getting and what we are hearing about now. Well, not to mention he's elderly. The guy was falling up a flight of stairs. We know this guy was being watched by a hawk. You want to know how I know that? Just from a pure holistic view from the outside. I'm not even behind the curtain. They were having Secret Service, like designated Secret Service agents, to chauffeur him around. Like, Joe, this way, buddy. You're going off the stage this way, sir. We saw that during speaking engagements. We saw them escorting him near the staircase, but they started giving him the short staircase to get on Air Force One because he couldn't make it up the long form staircase. So there's another example. What's the other example? There's that famous clip of him trying to get to the Oval Office in the West Wing, or near the West Wing. He was bypassing the West Wing. And remember how the Secret Service agent was in the grass, and the cement aisleway was going straight, and then it went to the right, and all he had to do was walk on the cement, and it would have just automatically taken him there. He goes straight past the bushes, and the Secret Service agent's like, Code Blue is on the move. So if he's given that kind of detail by the Secret Service, you know the medical team was giving this guy something. So I just wanted to bring that up to you, that nobody believes in this shenanigans. No, unless you're a Democrat. Don't get me wrong. The Democrats fully believe it. They believe the guy was working hard. And what's astonishing is the mainstream media is pretty much dominated by the left. 95% of the news coverage coming out has been negative about Donald Trump. By the way, somebody did a report. It was in the high 90 percentile has been negative about Elon Musk. So they just completely have been lying to everybody for the last 4 months, pretty much. But we use left-wing outlets as news stories. Axios is not a fan of Donald Trump. Well, really, nobody is in the media, really. Maybe Fox News, but even then they bash him sometimes. So if I use Axios, a left-wing media outlet that doesn't even like me, as my source, you still don't believe it. If I use Fox News as an outlet because it tends to lean conservative, you don't believe it. I could show you the tapes, actual audio and video of Joe Biden. You still don't believe it. So at that point, you just don't want to believe it is what's going on. So these people are they're really tough to deal with, man. And it's kind of head spinning. It's stubborn is a good word. Stubborn is a very good word. I don't know if stubborn was related to what I'm talking about now, but I like it. Thick-headed, all these things. And it goes back to, remember how I said is that when you're having dialogue with a fellow, just American, fellow citizen, that you need to go into it in good faith, that the other person is also going into it with good faith and actually wants to have a civil dialogue that's all surrounded by truth. What I have found and have seen, and I think this is very bad for the country, by the way. I think it shows really how split we are as a country. I have found that they don't want to enter the conversation with good faith. And I'm not saying there's not Republicans and conservatives like that. I'm personally like that. I will have a conversation with you through the form of a debate, and I'm coming at it from good faith. I've hounded Trump here on the channel. I don't mind saying, hey, I'm not going to defend everything that Donald Trump does. I'm going with what I think. I'm not here to defend Donald Trump. I'm here to talk about what I think. They don't come at it in good faith. They'll just lie straight to your face. They will actually just make stuff up right in front of you. It's a remarkable thing to see. It's really disgusting. I find it evil. The reason why I find it evil is because evil people lie. Satan lies. God doesn't lie. God is truth. God is truth. His word is truth. Evil is the only one that lies. And I see it a lot from the Democrat side of the aisle. They'll say we do it more, but it's like, how many times do we have to prove them right? We were called conspiracy theorists for years about COVID-19. We were almost right on every single level regarding COVID-19. I mean, we are right a lot more than we're wrong. That's for darn sure. But remember, it's all you have to do. Did you vote for Joey? They did. Oh, they did. You got Tom Homan in the news as well. Speaking of greatness, let me make sure this doesn't play. Here we go. Border czar hails big, beautiful bill. We need more money to deport illegals. I don't know if it's a money problem, Tom. I think it's honestly a you problem. And I'm going to be a little bit sassy with him until I start seeing the level of deportations that he said was going to happen. Because right now I don't see very many planes flying out. They are deporting people, but it's just not even close to being on the level that I was expecting. Border czar Tom Homan is celebrating the passage of President Donald Trump's big, beautiful bill, reconciliation bill, arguing in an interview with the Daily Wire that the bill is pivotal to protecting the southern border and empowering border authorities to do their jobs. He is correct there. Quote, we've made a lot of progress on the border, but we want to keep it permanent, he told the Daily Wire outside the White House Wednesday. Thank you. That is huge. Donald Trump is doing a lot of things. But the problem that I think he saw from his first administration was the undoing of everything that he worked so hard for by Joe Biden. What's stopping Democrats like Gavin Newsom in 2028, God forbid, coming into office and just undoing all his hard work? So if he can get those posts planted, cemented into the ground, get the Border Patrol agents out there, that doesn't mean you can't undo it as the executive branch. But the goal is to make it a lot harder for them to undo the work that Donald Trump is doing. Where has it also been emphasized? It has also been emphasized through the form of Doge. That question arose by Jesse Waters of Waters World when he was there, saying, what's stopping the Democrats from just basically doging Doge is what he said, exact quote. And Elon Musk said, well, they could Doge, but our job is going to try to make it extremely hard for them to do that. And it's going to take them a lot of time to try to do that. So you can undo anything, but make it a little bit harder. He's saying we need the money, not just for the border, but interior enforcement operations. Money for the border is going to help continue building the border wall. Every place the border barriers been built, illegal immigration went down, illegal drug flow went down. So we got to put more border wall up. I do agree with that. And I'm sure he does need money, but still, I'm not happy with Tom Homan. And I feel like when I see you more on TV than I do actually you deporting anybody, that doesn't make me happy. And I know sometimes that goes against what you probably see from a lot of I don't want to say, because I'm not mainstream, but like what you see from a lot of people in the news. I don't really see anybody hounding Tom Homan all that much. I'm sure they do, because you guys probably watch a lot more podcasts than maybe I do, but I just, he is really, really just not doing it. He's not doing it for me. I'm trying to be nice here. And let me know in the chat or the comment section, do you guys think that Tom Homan is living up to is Tom Homan living up to your standard? I guess put yes if he is, no if he isn't, because I'd be curious. I wouldn't have you or ask you to do that if I didn't think so, but do you think Tom Homan is living up to your standard? And some of you, it's okay to say yes, that, you know, hey, my standard is pretty low and he's meeting it. That's fine. See how I set those people up that are going to say, yeah, kind of did a backhand to you. Just know I love you. You just know I love you. Thank you, Donnie, for saying hit the thumbs up button. Thank you, guys. It actually does really to help the show. It helps the channel out a lot. I do want to say thank you to everybody that uses the website. We have more news to cover here. I want to thank everybody that uses the Bald Brad website for their donations. They don't get much love because I get a personalized message from them. But we do have a website, baldbrad.com. There you get the book here up at the top. I mean, it's all linkable. Get the book, Trojan Horse. You can donate here. Please don't feel like you have to, but if you want to make a difference and help us out, again, I'm the only person that what you see is here. The moderators in the chat, they volunteer their time for free. That's very generous to them. They've been longtime supporters of the show. But you could do everything here. It's all clickable. You can do a weekly donation, monthly donation. If you don't want to do YouTube or Rumble, we get 97% of the money here. So the Squarespace is what I use. They take 3% or whatever company does this. But I'll link you guys in the chat. Please, again, I want to emphasize this. Don't feel like you need to. It does help. It does help. I'll admit that. But there's the link if you want to click on it and give some donos. Or just go get some donuts. That sounds really good as well. So let's see in the chat here. Let's see what everybody wrote. I think he's doing the best he can. It's early yet. That's fair. Steve, that's fair. I think Tom is doing a good job compared to others that have had that job. I do think he could be doing better, though. No, my standard is to... Okay, I can't read that, Dave. Jeez, Dave. That's why Dave's over at Rumble. Dave, I don't... Oh, God, Dave. Dave, that's... Dave, I don't agree with that. I don't think we should be doing that to people. I have to say that. I don't think we should be doing that, but you know, you're allowed to voice your opinion. But yeah, I don't think we should be doing that. I can't even say what he said, but Dave, get off the beer. Okay, I gotta say that. Get off the alcohol, you're drunk. All right, well, Trump EPA cracks down on blue state threats to American energy dominance. The Trump administration is cracking down on blue states' abuses of federal environmental legislation that impedes the White House's push for American energy dominance. This is a huge deep state apparatus that was built by the Democrat Party to fool the American people into thinking that we can actually change the climate. You want to know why I say it that way? Is because if you look at the rest of the world and how they are polluting, we aren't doing anything. So we're shooting ourselves in the foot, both with our tax dollars and also our economy, by not building new power plants. By the way, we should be doing nuclear everywhere. We're shooting ourselves in the foot and allowing China, India, and everybody else to catch up. Well, you go ahead and just pollute all you want. We're going to go protest the American people. We're not going to fly across the world and protest you because, well, we know what would happen to us. So we're just going to try to voice our opinions over here and blame the United States and all the conservatives and all that, whatever, who the hell ever. I mean, they just shout to the skies. For, you know, all the global warming, global change, all this stuff. I've always correlated the world as a trash can. It sounds terrible to use this analogy, but it's true nonetheless. The world's a trash can. Everybody's throwing their trash into it. America stops throwing their trash into it altogether. Let's say we got to zero emissions. Let's just say, and we were not even adding anything into the dumpster. Is that going to do anything? Is the dumpster still going to get full? Yes. Easy. Thank you. Show's over. Just kidding. The Trump administration is cracking down on blue state abuses of, again, federal legislation that impedes the White House's push for energy dominance. The EPA plans to issue a memo on Thursday clarifying the authority of state and tribal governments under Section 401 of the Clean Water Act. In recent years, states like New York and Washington have invoked that section to kill major fossil fuel projects, despite those states' high energy prices. It's not about lowering the prices. It's about an agenda. And it doesn't matter how much money that you do or do not have in your pocket. They'll just keep increasing it. Like for here in the state of California, they throttle my air conditioning. They have control over it. So if, let's just say I set it at 68. I usually run it pretty cold. If I go down to 65, I would, but well, 68. I'll walk away, right? We'll be doing some show prep or whatever. I'll come back out and they throttle it off. Oh, we're in a high power zone right now. If you use your air conditioning, you're going to be charged more for it. Really? Or you could just take my tax dollars and build more electric grids because it gets hot around the same time every damn year. Because they're idiots. They are idiots. And I'm just going to keep saying that. They are idiots. They don't know how to run anything. They're so surprised. They're so surprised that it gets hot every single year in Southern California around the same exact time every single year. You want to know how I know this? I've lived here for 36 years. Every year around the same time. Guess what? It gets hot. And they always go, oh, it's record heat. global warming. We just should be driving Teslas. Everybody needs a Tesla by 2026. And then you'll get a notice coming out. Oh, by the way, make sure you don't hook up your Tesla between these hours because we don't have enough energy for it. And that's not satire. That's not even a joke. That's a real thing in the state of California. You can't even charge your vehicle because we don't have the electric grid for it. Let that sink in. But don't worry, they're going to charge you more for everything. Bunch of idiots in the state. $12 billion in debt deficit. Freaking idiots. I didn't vote them in. I didn't vote for any of these idiots in. The idiots voted the idiots in. That's how it works, right? That's how it always works. Under the last administration, can I just say, it's hard for me to say this, but it's true. If there was a Democrat out there that I saw was like a RFK Jr. Tulsi Gabbard Democrat, like old school Democrat, and there was no Republican available, I would take that individual over Gavin Newsom any day. Meaning I would vote for a Democrat just to fix things. Is it still? Yeah. Oh, it's still going to be bad. Don't get me wrong. No. You're misunderstanding me. It's going to be bad. It's just not going to be as bad. Like it's so bad with Gavin Newsom that you could replace him with another Democrat and things would actually get better. As long as they're a centrist Democrat, it will actually get better. That's how left this guy is. Awful, man. He's awful. Under the last administration, certain states attempted to leverage the Clean Water Act to undercut projects that would boost national and regional development and unleash American energy resources. With this memorandum, EPA is reinforcing the limits on clean energy, Section 401 certification to support energy, critical mineral and infrastructure projects that are key to economic growth and power the great American comeback. And what you've seen with the EPA is being a bureaucratic agency, an unelected agency, not doing the will of the people, but going against the will of the people. And I would go as far as to say going against the will of the nation itself, which would be the American people, to be fair. But it sounds a lot more better when I say it sounds eloquent when I say it, the way I did. It sounds smarter is what it is. But the problem is it's hindered us for the last, decade. I remember Donald Trump trying to figure all this out, right? He wanted to drill baby drill in his first term. Then you got Joe Biden campaigning. We're gonna remove the fossil fuel industry. How cool, pop. We're gonna remove it all. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? All right. I smell something sugary. That ain't ice cream. Hold on a second. I know I'm supposed to be talking about fossil fuel right now. But man, there's about a 6-year-old girl 20 feet due north of me right now. I could smell it as clear as day. I'm getting the downward draft of the wind right now. No, she's on the move. That's northwest. I got cancer. Now come, Pop. Oh, boy. Well, and there you go. In 2020, the Trump EPA restricted use of Section 401 authority because they want to hinder American dominance is what the Democrat Party wants, you guys. That is what they want. And by the way, the Democrats utilize the EPA to actually go after conservative Republicans, but they also did it with Greg Abbott and Doug Ducey over there on the southern border, trying to get rid of the makeshift border wall. Massive issues, massive problems, and we need to figure the EPA out. If you wanted here's my hot take on it. Remove the EPA altogether. Screw those guys. They suck. The EPA is trash. They are not for the American dominance. They're not for the American people. They're for the Chinese. They're for everybody else to get ahead rather than us. But we'll shoot ourselves in the foot. It's fine. No, let them keep doing their shenanigans. They're such garbage. You can't even dig a hole in California and the EPA will come after you. And I'm going to lose it. It's been a while since I've done a rant. I don't like the EPA at all. They're nut jobs. They're the ones that should be wearing the dresses. You know what I mean? Their women's underwear. They're showing up to work in their wife's high heels because they don't want to come out as being gay. I'm trans. Yeah, but you're still hooking up with your wife allegedly. How does that work out? You're just a cross-dresser. The The EPA are the guys that show up in the tight pants, you know what I mean? They duct tape their sack to their gooch. Not wrong. I know you don't want to hear it, but it's true. It's true. Let's get into some other news, though. Enough of me acting like a silly Billy Illy. You have this attack that took place yesterday, which is very terrible. There was a pro-Palestinian man who, I guess, deleted a bunch of people. 2 Israeli diplomats shot. Here we go. 2 Israeli diplomats shot, killed during event at Capitol Jewish Museum in Washington, D.C. A pro-Palestinian man is in custody after allegedly killing 2 Israeli embassy staff members who were leaving an event at the Jewish Capitol Museum in Washington, D.C. on Wednesday night. The Embassy of Israel to the United States identified the victims as such and such, who were set to be engaged. I'm not reading their names just because I can't read their names. So by the way, I'm not a great reader. I've always said that. I struggled reading in school. Stephen Jensen, the FBI's assistant director in charge of the Washington field office, said the agency will be investigating the heinous crime for hate crime motivation or ties to potential terrorism. Metropolitan Police Department Chief Pamela Smith said during a news conference that the officers responded to multiple calls of a shooting near the museum around 9:08 p.m. on Wednesday. When authorities arrived at the scene, a man and a woman were found unconscious and not breathing. Despite life-saving efforts from first responders, Smith said both were pronounced dead, which is terrible. Jeez. A 30-year-old, just moved. There you go. A 30-year-old man identified as, Elias Rodriguez of Chicago is believed to have committed the act alone and is in custody, Smith said, adding that his gun was also recovered. Smith said the preliminary investigation shows Rodriguez was allegedly observed pacing back and forth outside the museum before he approached a group of 4 people exiting the building. So now we have pro-Palestinian people coming out and offing people. So, and I'm sure Democrats are all for that. I'm sure they get all giddy and excited. So we have some more heated exchange happening in the Oval Office yesterday, it looks like. I heard about this on the news. Donald Trump met with the South African president here, and he rips NBC reporter for asking about Qatari jet gift amid tense meeting on genocide. You're a disgrace. Now, let me see if I could find the clip for you. I know who the reporter is. It's Peter Alexander. And let me see if I can find it for you. I think, yeah, here we go. I think this is the longer one.
Questions, Mr. President, you welcome white Afrikaner refugees here. Can you explain to Americans why it's appropriate to welcome white Afrikaners here when other refugees like Afghans, Venezuelans, Haitians have all had their protected?
So it's Peter Alexander. He's a White House correspondent. Mind you, why this is loading, the meeting itself is talking about genocide.
Status revoked.
Well,
and he's asking about the Qatari jet. Like, give me a break, dude.
This is a group, NBC, that is truly fake news. They ask a lot of questions in a very pointed way. They're not questions, they're statements. We've had tremendous complaints about Africa, about other countries too, from people. They say there's a lot of bad things going on in Africa, and that's what we're going to be discussing today. When you say we don't take others, all you have to do is take a look at the southern border. We let 21 million people come through our border, totally unchecked, totally unvetted. They came from all over the world. In many cases, they're criminals. They come from prisons. They come from mental institutions. They come from street gangs. They're drug dealers. So don't say that we didn't take them. We're trying to get them out as fast as we can. And we're doing record business on that. And we just won a big case where we're allowed to send back hundreds of criminals to Venezuela. Just won that today in the Supreme Court. I'm happy to hear. But we do have a lot of people are very concerned with regard to South Africa, and that's really the purpose of the meeting, and we'll see how that turns out. But we have many people that feel they're being persecuted, and they're coming to the United States. So we take from many locations if we feel there's persecution or genocide going on. And we had a lot of people. I must tell you, Mr. President, we have had a tremendous number of people, especially since they've seen this. Generally, they're white farmers, and they're fleeing South Africa, and it's a very sad thing to see. But I hope we can have an explanation of that, because I know you don't want that.
Was there more to it? I feel like there had to be more. There is another clip here at the top. Let's see what he has to say here.
Mr. President, the Pentagon announced that it would be accepting a Qatari jet to be used as Air Force One.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about? You know, you got to get out of here. What does this have to do with the Qatari jet? They're giving the United States Air Force a jet, okay? And it's a great thing. We're talking about a lot of other things. It's NBC trying to get off the subject of what you just saw. You are a real, you're a terrible reporter. Number one, you don't have what it takes to be a reporter. You're not smart enough. But for you to go into a subject about a jet that was given to the United States Air Force, which is a very nice thing. They also gave $5.1 trillion worth of investment in addition to the jet. Go back, you ought to go back to your studio at NBC, because Brian Roberts and the people that run that place, they ought to be investigated. They are so terrible the way you run that network, and you're a disgrace. No more questions from you. Go ahead.
Oh, Peter Piper, Pumpkin People Eater, or whatever the hell it's called. Oh boy. That's funny. He really laid into him, man. He really laid into it. It is, and this is something that we've mentioned in the past. Of you could be talking about something extremely heinous and criminal and just pure evil, and it's as if these people don't have a soul. We've seen it. I mean, how many White House press briefings, guys, have we watched together over 4 years, 4.5 years, really? And by the way, there's people in that room. I want to be clear. I'm talking, when I say things, it's as if I'm talking about everybody. I'm talking about specific people in that White House correspondence room. It's like as if they're cold-hearted, man. You'll have Caroline Leavitt up there talking about how these little girls are being raped, sold off into slavery, forced labor, trafficked, killed through fentanyl. I mean, there's a laundry list of things. She will, and then she'll show, the pictures of all these illegal immigrants on the screen and the crimes that they've committed. And it's as if she never said anything. I have a question about the Qatari jet. Like, you don't have a question about, any of the little girls that were just deleted or raped or anything. You don't have questions about the real evil. You want to talk about a stupid fucking jet that nobody gives two shits about. I'm going to plug it again, because there's going to be something in there that I don't think you guys are going to like. And if you read the book, you know what I'm going to talk about here. My book, there is a segment. There's a segment that talks about the mainstream media. And I talk about in the book how Donald Trump calls the mainstream media an enemy of the American people. And I build a case of how I don't think they're the enemy of the American people. And I want you to read that chapter again if you have the book. I'm leaning towards they are an enemy of the American people. I'm leaning towards it. I'm not there yet. What would it take for me? I don't know. But they're liars. They are nothing but liars and propagandists. It's disgusting to watch. It really is. I'm religious. And I find conspiracy theories fun. I don't really believe in them, but I find them fun. It's almost like that adventure. That's why we do my second channel. If you didn't know, I have another channel called Spooky Adventures on YouTube. Can any of the moderators actually plug the channel? Any of the moderators on both Rumble and YouTube, if you guys can find the Spooky Adventures channel, just plug the link if people want to subscribe. We go after aliens, UFOs, the paranormal, and we look at it because it's adventurous, it's fun, but it really is a serious channel in the sense of I want to try to figure it out myself if it's real or not. There's ghosts and aliens. You know, that's why we have this silly stuff here. You know what I mean? We got this stuff here. You're like, Brad, that's just Whoopi Goldberg on your screen. But I think there is real evil out there. Like, there's demonic beings out there. A part of me wants to just, these people have to just, like Caitlin Collins, they have to, I don't know what it is. I don't know if they have to be some sort of evil, man. These people are just fucked up. You're not, it's not like you're getting paid a godly amount of money to do this job where you're going to sell off your soul and you're going to spew a bunch of nonsense like this. You know what I mean? Maybe they are. Maybe money talks. And it's like, look, for $100,000, I'll eat dog shit. I don't know.
Scene in the Oval Office today, the tense confrontation, President Trump ambushing the president of South Africa.
Next, another Oval Office meltdown, President Trump ambushing the president of South Africa.
President Trump is being accused of conducting something of a diplomatic ambush of South Africa's president in the Oval Office.
To be with you, I'm Katie Tur. President Trump orchestrated another Oval Office ambush today.
Today, Donald Trump meeting with the president of South Africa and attempting to ambush and humiliate that leader.
Zelensky territory, where essentially he was a bit ambushed inside the Oval Office.
Felt like an ambush in there, kind of like the President Zelensky meeting in the Oval Office.
This was an ambush. It was orchestrated.
Cyril Ramaphosa brought his best diplomatic self to this meeting, but nothing could have prepared him for this multimedia ambush.
What started as, to some degree, an ambush.
Well, Katie, I mean, it was an ambush.
Ambush.
Ambushed.
Ambush.
An ambush.
Ambushing.
Ambushed inside the Oval Office.
It's almost as if there's a narrative they're trying to push. It's almost as if they have a message they're trying to get out that's in the form of propaganda. Bunch of scumbags, man. I really hope that their whole company just completely crashes. There's no truth there. It's just nothing but lies. Spewing just a bunch of freaking nonsense. Just nonsense. We have more stuff coming out. I want to see if I could find the clip for all of you. If you just give me one moment here. There was a clip of, you remember that lady that got arrested? This lady here. I want to see if I can find the clip. It's going to be kind of loud. This lady.
We will fight back.
You remember this lady here, the one that was, hitting law enforcement with the elbows that we covered yesterday, like she was a freaking NFL tackle. Like she was a freaking defensive of the Chiefs. If she's big enough for it, that woman could play in the NFL probably. Not all women maybe shouldn't play men's sports. But there was a clip yesterday, and let me see if I could find it. She's getting interviewed and she starts singing on the air. So let me see if I could find it for you. Forgive me. But she's doing it. She just starts like singing like she's in the South again. It's the oddest thing you'll ever see in your life. And here we are. I knew I'd be able to find it for you. I'm going to tell you all right now, these people are unwell. I don't know if this is the same person, but I thought it was. I don't know if it is or isn't, but we'll find out now. Either way, she's the Democrat here, and she just starts singing as if she's like working on a plantation or something. It's weird.
You are now facing a federal charge, though. Are you afraid of what's going to transpire now?
You fight on, you fight on. You fight on, you fight on. When your government is doing you wrong, you fight on, oh, you fight on.
Congresswoman, you are now facing a federal charge, though.
These people are unwell, you guys. This is not normal behavior. Now, if somebody goes, Brad, I've watched your show. You do silly things all the time on Dark MAGA. You scream into the mic. Correct. I'm doing it on purpose. It's for entertainment. It's to be silly. Rather than going, well, in the news today, we have another congresswoman She starts singing.
So, are you fight on?
So she sang the stuff. We'll go on to the next article here. Oh, it's fun. No, you got to bring it. You got to bring the spice and pizzazz, the entertainment, the silliness. I act on purpose like a silly individual. This is real. This is not acting. This isn't for entertainment. This woman is just not well. There's no other way to put it. She thinks she is, and she just indulges it. She has to be thinking, like, what's going on with this individual? She's not healthy. I mean, both mentally and physically not healthy. Oh, you racist. You're saying that about a black woman. Has nothing to do with the color of her skin. It has everything to do with what's inside her head and her eating too many Twinkies. Well, it's genetics. You don't know. It's not genetics. It's not genetics. It's math. I hate when people, oh, it's genetics. I can't help but be large. No, you can. You just have to go out and work out. You got to be honest with yourself. You're not going to be honest with yourself. You're not going to be honest with other people. Starts with you. Speaking of people that don't want to do honest things and speak honestly, you have Representative Ilhan Omar refusing to condemn the DC killing of Christian Israel diplomat and his girlfriend, of course. This woman got elected into Congress. She's, I mean, I have no other way to put it. She's a terrorist sympathizer that goes against American values for the values of other people around the world, like terrorists.
Ilhan Omar, can I get your reaction to the shooting that happened in D.C. last night?
I'm going to go for now.
I'm going to go for now, Mark. Couldn't even say condolences for the family.
Congresswoman Omar?
Isn't that wild? Even if you don't know anything about the story, you could just say, I'm not familiar with the story, but if it's true, that's absolutely terrible and despicable behavior. It's not like she's talking. See, in her mind, though, the Israeli people, those are the terrorists. Those are the people that should be deleted. Wild, man. It is so wild. 2 innocent people freaking killed. It's just, and just no care in the world. But don't worry, they're for the American people. Oh, it's good. That's great. Smart. Genius. So let's see what else we have here, where there's I guess there's some mind-blowing information coming out from Marco Rubio. It's a little bit of a long clip, but I got to tell you, man, I've said it time and time again. If Marco runs in 2028, as of right now, he's my number 1 pick. Things change. We're early on, but the guy is he's remarkable. I mean, when you put somebody and they rise to the occasion like Marco has, the guy's just a lion, man. Here he is. He's talking about USAID. This is the place that spends all your money unwisely.
Investing as changes to our foreign aid, we still will provide more foreign aid, more humanitarian support than the next 10 countries combined. Than the entire.
But remember, we're a-holes. Yeah, us Americans. Oh, we're so terrible. I'm just going to go back and let him say that again. How many times have I said that we're the most generous country that's ever existed on planet Earth?
Even with the reforms we put in place and what we're suggesting as changes to our foreign aid, we still will provide more foreign aid, more humanitarian support than the next 10 countries combined. Than the entire OECD, and far more than China. China doesn't do humanitarian aid. China does predatory lending. That's what Belt and Road Initiative is. That's what all of their aid. They have zero record of doing humanitarian aid in the world. And frankly, they don't know how to do it. They have no interest in doing it. What they're very good at is going into some country, making you a loan, and then holding that debt over your head. And that's what they continue doing. By the way, you have to hire a Chinese company to do it. So I don't agree with this assessment that there's no evidence whatsoever that China has either the capacity or the will to replace the U.S. in humanitarian assistance, in food deliveries, or in developmental assistance for that matter. We provide development assistance. They provide debt traps. And that's a point over and over again around the world that we've made, and we found receptive audiences to it. Now look, anytime you undertake reforms of this magnitude that needed to be made, you're going to have hiccups and you're also going to have controversy. But these reforms had to happen. At USAID, 12 cents of every dollar was reaching the recipient. That means that in order for us to get aid to somebody, we had to spend all this other money supporting this foreign aid industrial complex. We're going to find more efficient ways to deliver aid to people directly, and it's going to be directed by our regional bureaus, and it's going to sponsor programs that make a difference, and it's going to be part of a holistic approach to our foreign policy. And I look forward to engaging with this committee and the appropriators as well and ensuring that we get to the right place on that. My last point I would make, and this is something I am very proud of. I believe, and I'm not besmirching anyone else, but I believe that the approach we have taken at the State Department, and frankly at USAID, but at State Department, to move forward reforms that involved intake from all of our partners, that required input from people within the building. Many of the reforms we've made were driven by people inside the building, many of whom have worked there for 20 or 30 years. And now we are engaged with Congress, both in the House and Senate, in a comment period where we're taking many of your comments and are making changes to our organizational proposals that we look forward to bringing back to you with an official congressional notification. And even after that, there'll be an opportunity to move forward. But the State Department had to change. I'm telling you, it was no longer at the center of American foreign policy. It had often been replaced by the National Security Council or by some other agency of government, when in fact we have these highly talented people, many of whom have served in multiple posts around the world and have a holistic view of how foreign policy needs to be conducted, that were being edged out. Because you know what? When I get a decision memo early on at the State Department and they would hand me these memos, there were 40 boxes on this piece of paper. That means 40 people had to check off, yes, okay, before it even got to me. That's ridiculous. That takes too long. That's why people said, don't use State Department. They take too long and it's too cumbersome. And any one of those little boxes didn't get checked, the memo didn't move up the chain. That can't continue. We can't move at that pace in this world. Events happen quickly, and we have to be able to move at the pace of relevance. And so I hope to work with you in a productive way to make that possible. You're not going to like all the changes, but I want you to know what the intent of the changes are. It is not to dismantle American foreign policy, and it is not to withdraw us from the world. Because I just hit 18 countries in 18 weeks. That doesn't sound like much of a withdrawal. And I see some of these foreign ministers, including individuals from Ukraine, more than I've seen my own children. And I talk to them at least 3 times a week. We are engaged in the world, but we're going to be engaged in a world that makes sense and that's smart. And that isn't about saving money. It is about ensuring that we are delivering to our people what they deserve, a foreign policy that makes America stronger, safer, and more prosperous.
Marco, man. The guy is a lion, baby, and he's giving it to him. That's the side of him that I really enjoy. And he's just spitting facts and spitting truth. And the Democrat Party don't know what to do. Matter of fact, they don't have an agenda right now. The Democrats don't even know what the hell's going on out there, and they don't know how to handle it. Well, Donald Trump's for the wealthy. Like, aren't you for the wealthy? You're the one that's buying 3 houses in Congress somehow when you're supposed to be a civil servant. But yeah, you own 3 mansions while all of us are struggling, working multiple jobs. Give me a break. Marco's fabulous. He's just knocking it out of the park. I cannot emphasize enough how awesome he is. With that being said, that is today's episode, folks. We will not have, again, I want to be clear, we will not have Dark MAGA tonight. Normally we do it at 4 p.m., but I have to work, so I will not be available. I have to work till 10, so lucky me, I get to go from work right now, and when I turn this off, I go straight to work. I put on a suit and I go straight to work. So I work till 10 o'clock tonight, so I won't be home till like 11. So I will not be back here tonight, but I'll be back here tomorrow morning. Super tired. I am here tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. We will be back here tomorrow, 6 a.m. We're going to go probably long because I don't have work tomorrow. So I might go long. We'll see. I'm also getting my carpets cleaned. So I might not, because I actually want to get the stuff cleaned in here as well in my closet. But I gotta get all this stuff handled. And you guys, I should do it behind the scenes in here. If you saw the cords that I got freaking everywhere just to make this thing, I MacGyvered the fuck out of this show. I'm sorry to cuss, but I did. I MacGyvered the shit out of everything in here. Guys, I'm not an audio guy. I'm not a camera guy. I'm not even a math guy. I'm just a guy. I'm a guy that just tries to get shit to work, and it does. You know, sparks flying. Oh, fuck. But the show must go on. With that being said, thank you to everybody that joins us. We're going to raid. Somebody, and let's do Patriot Mike again. Patriot Mike likes us. We like Patriot Mike, and he does great work over there. So let's send you over to him. If you're not over at Rumble, go over there and join. Folks, I hope you have a blessed day. Thank you for choosing my channel to watch every single morning. I appreciate you. If you're new here, make sure you hit that follow button. We would love to have you in the chat or the community, and have you join us each and every morning for the Bald Brad Show, where we go over a bunch of different news, and well, we get a little bit crazy every now and then. Appreciate y'all. We'll be back here tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We're going to raid Patriot Mike. We go over there, plug the show. He knows who we are. We know him. He's one of the greats. And appreciate you guys. Take care.